Khairah Binti Ismail, metric number 61125, and in this video I will be explaining on the strategies on how to reduce the negative impact of mass tourism. So before we get into it, let's talk about what is mass tourism. So mass tourism is one type of form of tourism where it involves a large amount of tourists at the same time. So what does this mean? The image here is the example of mass tourism, and you can see that it is involving a very large amount of people at the same time visiting a certain tourist attraction area. So mass tourism, usually there are lots of negative impact that could be associated with it, and these are the example of negative impact, which is the first one could be the environmental disaster. You can see there are pollution, littering happening due to the mass tourism, and also there are some sort of inappropriate behavior that has been displayed by the tourism itself, by the tourist itself, I'm sorry. And vandalism and crime also are one of the negative impact, and these are another types of inappropriate behavior that displayed by the tourists. And there are other more negative impact that could be happening because of the mass tourism. So how can we reduce the mass tourism negative impact? And there are lots of, but here are the first one strategies that could help, which is to control the tourist capacity and movement. So by controlling, which I mean we divide the tourists in smaller groups and to set the batch in specific timeline and instruct them to go to different checkpoints from the small batches to avoid any types of crowded grouping. Second strategies is to improve and provide appropriate accommodation. For example, adding more facilities such as public restroom, cafe, sitting places, and other types of appropriate accommodation. And another strategy is to add border or fence that separates preserve area. For example, providing some fence or signs so that the tourists cannot go into the certain places, and they will not able to destroy or causing any negative impacts towards it. The third strategy is to increase the law enforcement, because we already had the law about the tourist activities, but what we need to do is to increase the enforcement more by improving the security system and having tight camera surveillance in every corner, so that we can monitor each of the tourist activity and to identify if there are any of them inhibited illegal activities, so that we can take a proper action. Strategy is to improve conservation and sustainable effort. These strategies is very beneficial to preserve our environmental. We can implement the to change into degradable or reusable items such as no plastic, using metal straw and other. And we also can encourage tourists to do the recycle activity. And last but not least is to provide an explanatory approach towards the tourists. For example, like we always said, is providing a tour guide where usually come from local authorities. They can provide explanatory session. They can tell all of the tourists what they can do, what they shouldn't do, and they can explain to them what are the meaning of the heritage, the specialty, and it also helps to monitor the tourist activity and movement to make sure that there is no any illegal action conducted by these tourists. So I think those are the 5 strategies that could be helpful for reducing the negative impact on mass tourism, and I hope that we could talk more about the other strategies on different types of tourism. But I think that is all from me. I hope you see you again. Thank you very much. Goodbye.